Hi everyone, I'm Colleen and I'm back for another live stream brought to you by Princess Dental Staffing. So happy everyone could be here with me today on this Wednesday. So if you're brand new to these streams, basically we're bringing you new topics each week that talk about starting and or maintaining your career in the dental industry. So we're offering you some thoughts and insights, tips, techniques on a lot of different on a lot of different topics. Okay, and we're bringing you a new one each week on Wednesdays. Okay, so if you don't want to miss out on future streams, be sure to like our page or subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future ones. Okay. If you want more information on the topics that we're covering, be sure to check out Princess Dental Staffing's blog at princessdentalstaffing.com. Also on princessdentalstaffing.com, it's super easy to create a profile and start searching for jobs as well. Okay. So let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic is how to hire the best dental employees. So we're going to be talking to hiring managers today, and we're going to be talking about different things that you can do to help ensure that you get the best candidates and you hire the best candidates. Okay. So first, let's talk about the different qualities that you want to look for in dental employees. Okay, so getting that staff for your dental office. Okay, so first, let's talk about organization. Okay, it's really important to have staff that are organized in a dental office, right? You've got a lot of different patients, a lot of different files, and a lot of different tasks that have to get done. So it's really important for your incumbents to be organized, okay? Every member of the dental staff has daily responsibilities, and everyone needs to work with various equipment, tools, and those sorts of things. So organizational skills to know where everything is within the dental office and where it should be put back or how it should be reset up, right? Very important. So organization, definitely something that you want to look for in the interview. Well, not just the interview, but also, in their resume, cover letter, indications that they are an organized person, okay? Interpersonal skills as well. You're dealing with a lot of patients daily, right? Everybody works with patients at some point, so they need to be able to interact with people of diverse backgrounds and be able to build that rapport with your patients and with your customers. Okay. They also need to have a pretty decent emotional IQ and EQ, sometimes it's called, and especially when dealing with patients who are having to go through different dental procedures and things of that nature. So, again, very important to, check resumes and cover letters and those sorts of things, and to ask questions in the interview that kind of help give you an idea of a person's interpersonal skills and their ability to relate to another person. Okay. Being detail oriented. Okay. Also another really good skill for dental staff to have. You need sharp attention to detail for any job in a dental office, right? Whether you're up front and you're having to, deal with updating files and those sorts of things, or whether you're an assistant or hygienist and having to work with tools and, help examine patients and those sorts of things. So very important to be detail oriented. Okay. And lastly, communication skills, right? And this kind of aligns a little bit with interpersonal skills, but it's something in and of itself, right? So you need to be able to communicate well, not only with patients, right? So we talked about a minute ago, we talked about, everyone in the dental office comes in contact with a patient at some point, but also with your team members as well. It's very important to have communication skills with your teammates, your management, and everyone, so that everyone is clear on, the information that you're trying to convey to them. It really helps you provide the best quality treatment for your patients. And, and then when speaking with your patients, it helps so that patients can understand, so that you can understand your patient's needs and wants and, reply to that accordingly. Okay. So those are just some of the skills that you definitely want to look for when you are reviewing applications, resumes, cover letters, and when you're going through the interview process and trying to check for all those different skills. It's really going to help you get a high level dental employee. Okay. So tip number 2 is to start with a detailed job description. Okay, so make sure that you have a detailed job description, position description, sometimes it's called, just a document that outlines what each position does. And that way you can convey it to incumbents when you are interviewing them. Okay. Um, so when you have, the other thing you can do is with a detailed job description is when you know what every position in your dental office is responsible for, you can review that job description and say, okay, since they're going to be doing this A, B, and C, what skills do you need in order to be able to do A, B, and C really, really well? Okay. And some of those skills might be, kind of like the soft skills like we kind of talked about earlier, organization or personal skills, those sorts of things. But it also may obviously going to be some hard skills as well, right? For, like dental assistants, dental hygienists, okay, and those sorts of positions. They're definitely going to need some hard skills, okay? And the job description will help you kind of really outline what skills you want to look for in the application and the interview process, okay? Okay, and then the other thing that you want to include in the job description is job classifications, okay? So, for example, if this incumbent will be an employee of the dental office or if they're going to be an independent contractor, okay? Whether they're full-time, part-time, and if they're part-time, how many hours are they kind of working per week? How many do you expect them to work per week, okay? And if they're going to be paid hourly and salary, okay, including information on, FLSA as well, okay? So that's a little bit about job description. So tip number 3 is to post the job on dental boards, okay? Dental job boards, excuse me. So, job boards are a great way to reach a large number of applicants all at one time, really advertise your position to a large number of applicants all at one time. So, and not only that, but there are a lot of applicants that are willing to move for a great job. So, displaying it everywhere, all over the internet, is a really great way to reach a large pool of applicants. Okay. So dental job boards allow for more visibility of your open positions. Okay, so really great option there to use dental job boards. Most of them are free. And then Princess Dental Staffing, of course, is a specific job board for specifically dental positions. So that's a really great option for you as well. Hello, Ralph. Tip number 4 is include open-ended questions in the application. Okay, so when resume and cover letter, of course, these are important. These are definitely important documents to help you get a sense of the candidate and where their skills and their where their expertise lie, where their background is, and get a lot of information that way. But answering an asking an open-ended question, having them answer it on an application just gives you a little bit more information. So, for example, you might ask, why do you want to work for the company? Or why do you think that you are the best candidate for this job? What sets you apart or something like that. So if candidates don't answer the question or they don't answer the question well, that can kind of help you narrow down to your top group of applicants, right? Which is definitely something that we want to do. I recently had to use this statistic in a presentation that I gave. The average number, this is based on a 2016 study, so the number might not be as accurate right now, but based on a 2016 study, the average number of applicants for a position is about 52. So being able to narrow down applicants to your top group of applicants, more information is never a bad thing. So asking an open-ended question can really help you kind of narrow that down, especially if they do something like, if they don't answer the question well, or if they don't answer it at all and they just kind of bypass it. I've even had applicants, it'll be an open-ended question and they put NA, or they'll put yes or no. Okay. All right. Obviously you didn't read the question thoroughly. So, and again, going back to kind of what we were talking about in the beginning, being detail oriented and being able also to follow directions when they're given to you, very vital parts of being, a dental employee, really great skills that you need to have in order to be able to carry out all the job tasks of being a dental employee. So, asking an open-ended question, not getting a very good answer or not getting, a thorough answer, is a really good indicator that, what you can expect if you hired this person as an employee. Okay. Hello, Sahar. So yeah, so open-ended questions, really great option for an application. Okay. Conducting reference checks. So a lot of applicants will, there's also a lot of, ATSs out there that include an area for candidates to include their references. Okay. So go ahead and check those references. If they're providing them, yeah, absolutely go ahead and check those references. I definitely recommend it. However, I would do it for your top group of applicants. So once you have your top group of applicants, because, if everyone has three, references, which is, normally the standard is about three, sometimes four. If you're going to check them for everybody, you're just kind of, you're wasting a lot of time. So what I would do is get your top group of applicants and check those references, and check all of them. I'd recommend checking all of them and, keeping a record of, what was asked and what was, said, maybe even having a script for your references to go through. Okay. But reference checks, really great option just because it really gives you a good idea of what the candidate did, or what their work ethic was like in previous positions. Like particularly if they're professional references, like ex-coworkers or ex-supervisors. It can really give you a great deal of insight as to what their job tasks were, what their responsibilities were, and how they handled them. What kind of work ethic they engaged in order to carry out those responsibilities and tasks, right? So really good idea to check those references. Also a great way to verify certifications and licenses. Okay. So yeah. Let me answer some questions here. As a hiring manager, it's a big red flag when the question isn't answered. Don't expect a call for an interview if you do that. Yeah, absolutely, Ralph. I think that's a great point to make. Again, you can still get a lot of great information from a resume and a cover letter, but answering an open-ended question, especially a situational question, I quite like situational questions. What would you do in XYZ situation? It really gives you some really great insights and information and data on, what you can expect from this incumbent if you are hired for the position. So it is a very big red flag because, if someone doesn't answer it at all, if they just kind of bypass it, likely it kind of indicates to me that, maybe you're not as invested in this position as I would like you to be, or maybe you're not as excited about this position, or maybe you don't really want it that badly. And we definitely want people who are excited about this position, so it's definitely a huge red flag. What questions do you suggest to ask references? So I normally ask, if it's a reference, I normally ask, I normally confirm the job title. Okay. And I also ask, okay, what kind of tasks or responsibilities does this person take care of on a regular basis? And then I also ask, references about specific skills, normally more so soft skills, because you can kind of get an idea of their hard skills from their job duties, but you can also ask about hard skills as well. You can ask them, would you consider this person to be organized? Would you consider this person to be hardworking? Can you give an example that indicates that they are a hardworking individual? You can always ask for examples, and if they need time to answer, that's totally fine. Sometimes you can't think of things right on the spot, right? So if you just, if you need to come back to questions, that's totally fine as well. But you can also ask for examples, or you can also ask them, was there something that they worked on recently that really impressed you as their, supervisor or coworker or something like that? You can also ask questions like that. Yeah, absolutely. I really like your idea of open-ended questions. What a great way to assess a candidate's capability to pay attention to detail. Yes, absolutely. Pay attention to detail and follow directions. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to assess that. Situation questions are a great way to assess skills. Yeah, absolutely. Asking what someone would do in a specific situation, again, really kind of helps, give you some insight as to what they would actually do, right? I mean, it's a little bit different because they get time to sit there and think about it, but, more often than not, people are going to, answer truthfully, and, it gives you some insight as to what you can expect, okay? Having people who can speak to specific situations is super important to know if they are qualified for the position. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree, Taylor. Situational question is also a great way to evaluate critical thinking skills. Yes, Sahar, I completely agree with you. I remember once in an interview I was asked, and this is, for HR, it was for an HR position. So, I mean, kind of similar, but basically it was, they said, okay, so a coworker wants to talk to you, your office phone is ringing, your cell phone is buzzing, and you have a deadline that occurs in 2 hours for a project or a report or something like that. How would you handle? What would you do? What is your sequence of operations? What would you kind of do first? And I thought that was a great question. And of course that can be tailored to kind of like a dental office type interview. But, I thought that was a great question because it really did make you sit down and think and go, okay, well, first I'd probably do this or that or the other thing. And it also gives you an option to say why you would do what you would do. Oh my God, you just described my day. I know, right? You got 16 things going on at once. Got to be able to prioritize, especially and reprioritize, right? If you're in a fast-paced kind of, office kind of environment, right? Constantly have to do that. Okay, so we talked about some tips. I just want to kind of review them for you quickly. So firstly, we talked about the most important qualities of dental employees and, kind of what to look for: organizational skills, interpersonal skills, being detail oriented, and communication skills. Okay. Tip number 2 was start with a detailed job description to make sure that you have a really good idea of what this position you want to expect for this position, and it also gives you an idea of the type of skills that you want to look for. Okay. 3, posting on dental job boards. Okay. And definitely niche boards, dental job boards are a really great idea just because, they're niche and they have a specific audience, right? Dental audience. Okay. 4 was include open-ended questions in the application so you can kind of get a little bit more insight and a little bit more data regarding what you can expect from a candidate, if you do end up hiring them. And lastly, make sure you conduct those reference checks for your top group of applicants and get some insight on, what their job duties were and their responsibilities and how they went about taking care of those tasks and responsibilities, if they did it well, and what their strengths were. Okay. So those are my tips and tricks for you today. Thanks for joining me, everyone. And thanks for all the great questions. These are really great questions and insights. Definitely keep them coming. If I didn't answer well, I think I got all of them today. But if you have any others, by all means, go ahead and comment below and we will get to them and answer them as soon as possible. But we will be back next week, next Wednesday, with another topic. Sorry, one more question real quick. How many references should you contact? I normally recommend contacting all of them. Now, most applicants will have about 3 to 4. I normally recommend contacting all of them, especially if they were previous supervisors. I think, in my experience, they tend to have a little bit more insight. But yeah, so I normally recommend, doing all of them. Now, if someone has like 10 different references, then I might just kind of limit it to like 3 or 4. And again, I would probably limit it to, previous supervisors or coworkers. I would probably limit it to like business references. Okay. And if they're all business references, then probably the most recent jobs. Okay. Like refer back to their resume. What's their most recent job? Okay. Let's look for supervisors or coworkers at the most recent one. Okay. So that's kind of how I would narrow it down if you have more than 3 or 4. Okay. But I definitely talk to all of them. Okay. Okay, so that will do it for me today, everyone. We will be back next Wednesday with another topic for you and some thoughts and insights and food for thought on that topic. But like I said, in the meantime, if you have questions or thoughts or insights on today's topic, be sure to comment them below, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining me today, everyone. And if you weren't able to join me when this stream was live, glad you got to watch it later. I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you soon. Bye.